I'm gonna bring in Crazy Dee real quick. To see what's okay. I see now. Watch. I bet you Crazy Dee know how to get up in
Of
here.
course, Crazy D is a movie guy, a movie genius.
So yeah, okay, Crazy. I see it working. Now I can unmute his mic. There he is. I can unmute his mic. Crazy D is with us. Kim Johnson still
Crazy.
talking about her hair. She don't have a wig. She said my hair is nappy and I don't have a wig. Kim, throw your Browns hat on like you did before. Crazy D, my mellow, my
Crazy
man.
Dion, what up?
What's going on, Chill? What's going on, Dave?
What's up, brother?
What's Atlanta like right now? What's the weather?
But it's not fully open, but people are out and they're moving around. I saw more cars on the road today that I've seen in a while, but I'm not going out, man. I'm staying in, dude. I go to the store and back home, and like I told Chill, I had to film a couple things, but that's it. I'm not doing anything right now. I'm at a friend's house because I had to come over and pick up some masks, and I end up staying here talking business, and I'm down in their basement now. So I'm just cooling out. I'm going home after this.
Yeah, same thing in Las Vegas. We're in, they're getting ready to open things up. We're gonna know by the 30th or the 31st if they didn't blown this to hell, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Open and start the virus. But I don't know if you knew this, Chill, but Dave starred in a couple episodes of the BlkIce Chronicles as Big Pimpin.
Ah, Dave.
That's right.
Big Pimpin.
That's right. I actually wrote the character for him because he was seeing me doing the BlkIce Chronicles, and he said, "You got a role for me?" I said, "Sure." We went to school together, so of course I'm gonna write something for you. And then we wrote it, and he came in there, and he knew the script better than all the other actors. I mean, he came in knowing it, but he said, "I got this, Crazy D, because I do those stage plays."
Right, and you know what? And that's enough. We got to get to Dave. We go get to the blow up a Dation a minute large, and then we got to get to those stage plays too. And I done kicked J. Cool out the building because he couldn't get his technology together. So Dave, I'm not Dave. Excuse me, J. Cool. J. Cool, I kicked you out the building. Get it together. Come back in, and Kim, get your hat on and come back in. So again, even though Crazy D he's now almost a co-host of Whenever I Go Live. Just for the people that are watching, again, introduce yourself. J. Cool said he can't join because I was previously removed. Okay, man, I don't know why I did remove you the last time, but you couldn't get on. J. Cool, hit the new link again, and we're gonna see what we can do. Go back and come back in. But D, introduce yourself to the people again, and then we go keep chopping it up with Dave.
Okay, I'm Crazy Dee. I produce a show called The Film Review: Movies, Music, Culture, Politics, and Society. Live streaming on Sundays at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, right out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Based in Nevada now, but originally from Cleveland, Ohio. 15 years in retail, music, and all that. Crazy D's Music Palace. And I'm just honored to be here with Chill and Dave.
My man.
Dave, talk to me about minute large blowing TF up.
Man, it happened really fast, man. It seemed as soon as they put that first record out, Use Me, May of, I don't even remember the date, but it just seemed like that record just really take off, and people seem to forget about it. But man, it was a top 10 record, man. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it went to, I don't know, 7 or 5. I don't really keep up the stats, but it was a top 10 record, man, and it was #1 radio. Stuff just took off fast, man. We were going places and people were going crazy in the mall. They were chasing our car around in Cleveland, getting kicked out of malls and stuff like that, man. We were going places, man. They were like, you causing too much trouble, especially down in Georgia, where they were tripping on Bobby Brown for pumping and stuff. So, I mean, it was fantastic, man. Then the second single, they everything, it still kept going, but they still was high on Use Me. So the second one was You, Me, and that kind of like, but they still was on Use Me. And then we did, I think it was Good. Yeah, that one was top 10. You Me still hit top 20, I think. I'm not sure. But then after that was So Alone. That mug would not die. It just kept going and going and going and going and going. And that went to number 2. Of course, it was number one radio song of the year for 1993. And then they gave us a 5th single, and that's normally unheard of for, you know, rookies out the box. And that was Would You Like to Dance? And that really didn't make much noise, but it, you know, it kept the album on that, you know, that 200 for like over 2 years. It stayed on the charts because when they dropped the next one in '94, it still was out there, man. And then the next album, I mean, we had some, man, we had a great run, me and Jason, man, a really, really, really great run. And then things just kind of got different.
Okay, well, before we get into the different, let's get into the light, man. Oh, and by the way, did you know that I was gonna be on one of y'all songs? Did you know that?
No, I never knew that.
Okay, because what happened was I gave them Surge. I gave y'all Surge.
Yes.
Instead of me, I let Surge take my place on was it Salty Dog?
Yes.
Yeah, but initially we had worked out a deal where I was gonna do a piece on one of y'all songs, but I was also hyping up Surge back then, and so Surge came and spit and jumped in on Salty Dog and ripped it.
Man, lately, baby,
salty dog is on the prowl. Lately, something you've been living foul.
Man, but I never see you with him, and if he's out of sight, he's out of mind. So forget him. Woo.
Yeah, my man, Dr. Richard Montgomery is also in the. We gonna get them all in there. Okay, but take me. Y'all are so connected. Men at Large is so connected to any other song. Definitely So Alone, and we know that song was very personal to you. Talk to me about you writing the song, how that came about, and what was it like even in the recording studio making the song and for the song to be that popular. Talk to me about that.
Now, I tell you, I wish I had written that song. Gerald and Tony Nicholas wrote the song.
Okay.
That song was written for me to sing to my mother. What I didn't know about that song was that song, by him penning that song and me singing that song, that made me be responsible to stand in the gap for millions and millions and millions and millions of people. And I have yet since, and I'm still learning how to manage my own pain. Dig it? Because
right.
You know, everybody looks at me as being so strong, and yet I still have to hold not only my family up, but a lot of other people. But that song, for me, it's the record that keeps us eating. And I'm so thankful and I'm so grateful for it. You know, and that record, I saw a video that went viral the other day that had something to do with Corona. And it had like about 10 songs on there, little snippets of I'm so lonely, I'm sick, this, and then the last song was it had me singing on Arsenio Hall. Probably got over like 1 million something views right now. That record is it's timeless. I mean, even as well as the last few months, I was at a gas station. I met this girl. Her little daughter couldn't be no more than like 8 or 9 years old. This song that I sing, this is the song I sing. The guy made this record right here. Like that song has transcended over a couple decades now. Was it 90s, 2000s, 20s? Yeah, like almost 3 decades, man. So it's a dope record, man. I hate that record for a bunch of reasons. Because number one, I hate the way I sound on it. Number two, just because for me, let me not say I hate it. Let me not put that out there. I don't hate it. I just it's a record for me that at one time I was like, I'm not gonna perform this song anymore. And they was like, well, if you don't perform that song, you're not gonna get no work no more because that's the song here. You know what I'm saying? So I grinned and bared it, but for a long time, I really didn't know how much that song meant to other people. I would go because I was so stuck in myself and how bad I feel every time I hear the record, because that record just makes me think about the last time I saw my mother. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, like, it's been times where I've been on stage where I just lose it. you know, especially in the beginning times. Like even this past Mother's Day, I did like a Mother's Day serenade. And for most people that know me, I lost my sister in December. And so I dedicated the show to my sister. And like at the end of So Alone, my daughter is sitting on the side of me and like she was gonna sing, but she didn't come sing. And I'm like, everybody, like I said, I'll do something now called the So Alone roll call. So if I'm live and you put the name up there now, when I go to cities, I have people in advance. If I come, I put it up, you give me a name, I say it while I'm on stage before I do it. And the names start coming up, and I saw some of my other nieces on there, and they were throwing up names, and I just kind of lost it at the end because, you know, it's that pain that kind of never goes away. But you know, you got to be strong and moving because so many people depend on you because of that song, man.
Right. That's the truth, man. Because you know, you jumped in a set with me, and sang that song. And what was crazy is we did a dedication to my man Wild C, you know, Johnny O's best friend. And I dedicated a show, a performance to Wild C, and had Johnny O spinning for me. And Dave, you came in, I did MC Story, and during a breakdown of MC Story, you came in, did So Alone, then we brought back the next verse of MC Story. That was a dope performance, man. And I think we might have that we still might have footage of that. But as a matter of fact, 350 came in, Lori D. She came in on that set.
I love her.
Off of one long version of MC Story. I did like the first verse. I think 350 came in. I did the second verse. Then you came in, did So Alone, and then I finished the song up as a dedication to Wild C. But that was dope. When do we ever go to see me, you, and 350 the Mobsters on the stage rocking together off of an extended version of one song?
Man,
that was dope. J. Cole is having problems getting back in because he couldn't get in the first time, and I put him out. Now he's saying he can't get back in. So I'm gonna have to figure out how we can get J. Cole. And Dr. Rich, I saw you in there, and I want to. You gave up too soon, Dr. Rich. So anybody else who want to come in, you might have to wait. But once you're in, I do see you in there. So I can get you in. Now, Dave, talk to me about. I want to talk about you guys. We're on Arsenio, but I also want to talk to you about you and Jason's relationship as friends. How did stardom affect that? You guys childhood friends, but now it's money. Now is mic time, it's studio time, it's relationships with the label. How did that affect you all's friendship?
Well, we were thick as thieves, man, and then I don't know what happened. I think for him, he was he'll probably give you a different story. Now we're cool we're thick as thieves now, but we really didn't break up over money or anything like that. I think at the time we were kind of separating anyway, and he was coming into his own as a man because when we were younger, man, I had the car, I was the one that was working, I had the job, he had to just follow me all the time and do everything I did all the time. And I think when we started making money, he was doing his own thing. He laid out his crib like I laid out my crib. And, we started recording the second album and things became where it kind of like he wanted things his way and we were gonna write this. And I was like, all right, well, go ahead. I'll just get my credit. Because I don't really, sometimes back then I wasn't really as confrontational as I am now. But I was just like, all right, cool. Let's rock it. Because I just wanted to get it over with and get the bread. But I think it came down the line. Even one night, we got into a fight one time on the road. And I'm gonna give you this. We were in Kentucky. And I don't know, man. I guess tensions have been getting high. We were on our own little tour. We was always touring. AB and Eddie Jr. And we were somewhere on some military city.
Big ups to my man, Eddie Jr.
And word up, Eddie Jr. down here in the A2. What up, Crenshaw Mafia? Whoop whoop. And I don't know, man.
Y'all out here so whooping. Go ahead.
I got sick, and I had them things on my throat, and the doctors was like, "You can still go out on the road, but you need to get your rest." And we used to do these things where we used to irritate each other to the point of other people would probably swing on you if you did it, but we did it to each other constantly because that's just what we did. We did it to everybody in the clique. Like when we left, if we were in Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Pennsylvania, even Kentucky, it probably was like 15 or 20 of us rode. I mean, and we paid for, we rolled like we was a rap group because that's all we did. And we were in the room, and I had my little guy Fouché, who used to open up for us everywhere. We're a hip hop dude, Adam Johnson, and he was in the room, and I was like, "All right, fellas, we get ready to roll. I'm ready to go. I need to get some sleep for the show." And he was like, "Man, F you, I ain't going nowhere." He was like, "F you, B, I ain't going nowhere." I was like, "Yeah, all right, man. I'll holler at y'all. Go ahead and get up out my room." And just to say, it turned volatile. And Adam was like, "Man, I can't believe y'all, man. Y'all gonna fight over this stuff like this." But that part didn't break us up. We pounded out. We cried on stage. The show was great. But it was like, the end was, we were in LA. We were shooting a video with Hype Williams. We were one of the first people that he worked with. We were doing the Let's Talk About It remix. And man, we was getting high, and it was just me and him, Leonard Brooks, who was our road manager at the time,
LB,
20 ladies, LA's finest. We in the trailer getting high,
off the stimuli. All right, go ahead.
And look, so we get ready to pick and choose because we was almost done. Man, dude busts out in a full-fledged sermon.
And Jason.
Jason. And God said that in the midst of the storm that this, that, and the third would happen. And Jesus said this and that. And Jesus and God said this and that. I'm like, dude, I'm not lying to you. The smoke start to clear. I'm being honest.
Right.
The smoke started to clear. The lights start to get brighter, and the girls, if you seen the Let's Talk About, they had the little silver panties on with the small tennis dresses. They start pulling their dresses down, and I looked at him, and I was like, "My dude, this is our last album." And it was. We did one more video. We was out in LA. We did Holiday with Tommy and Pam from Martin, but we just kind of drifted apart relationship-wise. It was like, and he'll tell you, well, Dave wanted to go solo, and I did want to do solo stuff because I wanted to do more edgy stuff. I was like, we always getting this regurgitated music and stuff that he don't want or they're not going to use or something that somebody else had. And I want to do some edgier stuff, some hip hop stuff, some harder stuff. That's what I wanted to do. They were going to let us do a hip hop album. We was going to do, if you watch Arsenio, they were saying we was going to do something called the Big Draws Posse. It was
I remember that.
And they had a bunch of people lined up to do it. And then Sylvia was like, "Well, no, we think you guys shouldn't do it because it will mess up your core audience." Man, we probably would have made more money rapping than we did singing.
Right. But, and see, Dave, this what drives J. Cool crazy, because when you drop names, now obviously when you're talking about Sylvia, you're talking about Sylvia Rome, right?
Yeah, I did Sylvia Rome?
You just said Sylvia.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, Sylvia Rome. So which was the you guys record company head, who you dealt with at the label. But yeah, man. So you and Dave, that was it as far as the next album. What happened?
We started getting a bunch of shows because the group, we was blazing, and the company was going through a merger and all that other stuff. We was blazing, and so I had met this dude named Gemini in Chicago. It was the first time we was getting ready to do So Alone. It was us and Brandy performing at Cliff Levingston's club in Chicago, of the Chicago Bulls. And Gerald wasn't there that night. And so I was like, he was doing security, and I was like, "What up, dog? You know our music?" He was like, "Yeah, dude, I know it." I was like, "Oh, you sing too?" He was like, "Yeah," because he was singing.
Okay.
And that night we did So Alone. he came out and did Gerald Levert's part, man, the crowd went berserk, and it had to be like about 3,000 or 4,000 people in this club. And I was like, you know, afterwards, I saw him at the club afterwards, and I was like, hey man, if something ever come up, I'll holler at you. And so back here, like I'm going like we doing in in The Last Dance, we going to 97, back to 90.
Right.
But we were on the phone one day, and it was definitely a time when we had separated, we weren't doing anything, and I had started.
I don't want to interrupt you, but what was Gerald's input about this? What did he say about its impending breakup of the group?
I don't even think we had even told him about it, because at this time.
And what was your relationship with Gerald as things began to, you know, to get bigger and bigger? What did that relationship? What happened with that relationship?
Oh, let me tell you about all that. That's a lot of stuff, boy. Where you getting the unsung right here.
That's what I'm talking about. That's how we do it, Crazy Dee.
Yeah.
We're gonna be on here till about 11 o'clock, and I got an hour drive home. So
we ain't gonna be on here till 11 o'clock. This mean go off at 11:30. I mean, no, I think I set the time to like 10:30, but we can do it after.
I love you, bro. You know, and I'm thankful for our relationship, and anyway, I'll get to that later. But as far as at this time, Jason and I had went to them and told them we wanted out. We didn't really know what their plan or intent for us was, but all we knew was everybody kept coming in there, and everybody was getting new stuff, and we wasn't.
You talking about with travel?
That's not any knot on anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You dig what I'm saying? We had lawyers to do our contracts, this, that, and the third, but we had the same type of deal as Silk, TLC, Tony Braxton. We just wasn't smart enough to go back to the table to renegotiate our shit the right way. And that's what we should have did. But instead, we left. You know, at this time, they had dropped the Rude Boys, and we left. And we thought, man, we were so hot. We was like, somebody gonna pick us up like that. Well, hell, it took me a minute to realize, man, no matter what we think or what we thought, Gerald and Eddie Levert were the most revered people in the entertainment business. And back during those times, it was honor amongst thieves, and nobody was going to do anything with us. For Dave Tolliver, though, I'm a hustler, my G, and I don't take no for an answer. And I found money under rocks here, there, everywhere. I don't play. I'm not ever gonna go hungry, my G, ever. So I kept finding. So back to me and Jason leaving. So after back there, and you want to know how we got out of our deal?
Talk to me.
I ain't gonna tell you, Chill. You y'all gonna have to wait for, because I feel they gonna come to us in the next couple seasons for Unsung. But it's some of the dumbest things that you could ever do as an artist, and I'm gonna have to go back and get my lawyer to get it. You dig that? So just know that I'll tell you off air, but I want everybody to be waiting for it. I'll tell you too, Crazy Dee. So me and him were on the phone one day. After a while, I had been doing a lot of shows by myself. Cats was just calling, and I'm like, well, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I had a bunch of records on my own. So they called us with a string of shows with all because that's what we were always with the 90s, Silk, H-Town, Shy, SWV, all the time, everywhere we went, overseas, here, everywhere, same people. And they said, well, we got to do these shows, and y'all got 2 shows in one day, here, this, that, and the third. So I called Jay. I'm like, well, what you want to do, man? You want to do these shows? He was like, yeah, but I don't want to take the road manager. At this time, Leonard had said he was leaving to go work with Gerald. And I was like, all right, cool. So we had hired this guy named Courtney Carter. Everybody probably know Courtney. He worked with a little bit of everybody. And so he was like, but I don't want to take the road manager. I'm like, really? Are you serious, dude? I said, you're not thinking. We got 2 shows in one day, and we did our shows differently all the time. We had them on the DATs and stuff like that. You know what DATs are?
Digital audio tape. Of course, we know what DATs are.
I'm talking about the people that's watching. And so who gonna work that? Because this engineer, he knew sound and lights, and he could change. I said, so if we don't take him, who's gonna work our sound and lights? We getting 3 for the price of 1 what we're paying him. Nah, F that, man. I don't want to pay him. F that. I want to keep all the money. I said, all right then, man. F it. I'm gonna take Gemini. You stay home. And that was the end. But we still were cool. You want another story?
Come with it. Talk to me, King.
This is how we really fell out of friendship. So I used to date this girl that...
Oh, we got one of those stories.
It ain't me.
Come on with it.
Girl, she was my girl first. I mean, I don't, and I hooked her up with them to sing backgrounds and run around this, that, and the third. And so later on down the line, he calls me and says, yo, I'm getting married. And I'm like, word? And I'm like, to who? I said, you beat me, dog. And he was like, to who? And I said, what? I can't believe you about to marry blah, blah. That, homeboy talk. Because I knew all the stuff that had happened on the road. It wasn't because I was mad, but I'm like, but years later, I apologized to him because everybody deserved, like with the Biz Markie thing. As a man, you go back and you say, well, that was your thing. You a grown man. Everybody deserves a second chance. Like every woman that you fall in love with ain't gonna be pure as snow. So I was wrong for the content. But where we fell out was she forbade him to ever have any more relations with me, my family, or any of that. And he did it. Had you said that to me, I'd have been like, dog, I'm married. I don't care what you say, but watch it. That's about to be my wife. I would never, like, our kids don't know each other and none of that stuff. They don't have, but we are cool at this present moment. And I know we've talked, and I know that he regrets some of the stuff, but that's my man. And we are, I know you're gonna ask this, we are getting ready to do another album together.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad to know that, because I was gonna tell you, no matter what you all do, no matter what you all have going on, you guys, and I know this just from being an artist, you guys will be forever linked together. And you don't want it to get too far down the road where, y'all could have collabed or just even got your families together, man. Y'all gonna be connected forever. So make the best of that time, man.
That right there, I don't know if the kid thing is gonna happen, but my daughter loves him and his brother. Like, I don't have a relationship with his kids, but my daughter does. I make sure that I'm big on that. But him and I are dope right now. Like, we don't be whatever like all the time, but like it would have been done. Like if things wouldn't have happened for me the way they ended in 19, with my sister and all that other stuff. And then with this quarantine, we probably would have about 10, 12 records ready to bang for y'all right now. But as soon as this is over, and matter of fact, I'm coming up there. We're going to get in the box. I'm going to roll the dice and get in the box with him, because people been waiting on it. And it's time. They need it. We had started doing records. Last Dance. I'm gonna go back to 2004.
Okay.
This was a chance. We had a chance. And I'm giving you all the cookies.
There you go. And again, everybody, make sure you share this, because y'all getting some epic stuff right now. Make sure you share this, and don't act like y'all don't see that Cash App link in there.
Right.
Don't act like you don't see the Cash App in there. Y'all get some real good stuff, man. Y'all go ahead and put some coins in the tip jar so I can keep this whole Chill Vision, Chill Talk, Chillumination platform going and doing the things. J. Cool, I put a new link in there, so I don't know if that would help, but anybody else, you see the link, go ahead and hit that link and jump on in. And if you get in, don't be in here acting foolish. So go ahead. Now come on with it, Dave.
So we doing this like Last Dance. So let's go back to 2004.
Okay.
With the 220 to 2000. So I get a call personally from Teddy Riley. This could have been, I see you sit up. This could have been the of Dave and Jason.
Right.
Like, yo, we're going to do this New Jack Swing tour. Y'all going to open up. It's going to be SWV, Heavy D and the Boys, Black Street and Guy. We're going to start it off on the Tom Joyner cruise. but it got to be all original members. I'm like, oh, damn. Out his mouth, all original members. So I sit down and talk to my man, because at this time, me and the other guy had been together for about 7 years.
Is it still Gemini?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like, man, you gonna have to sit this one out, dog, because I can't pass it up. Because I don't really care. When it comes to my family, I don't care about nobody's personal feelings or stuff like that. You know, I have to take care of my family first. I'm very loyal to everybody that I work with. But when it comes down to situations, I would make sure that you get a bone. But for that right there, so look, so we had started recording some new records anyway. When David Ford had a studio at the mall.
Okay.
This is like Last Dance. Damn, this is dope. I'm gonna write this, and so you guys can write it for me. And so we at the studio and we vibe and we having a good time and we recording some crazy records. We listened to them the other day, as a matter of fact, that if they came out now, they would be like, yo. So I'm like, I'm gonna try to take my family to Atlanta, because he was getting ready to move to Atlanta, because him and the wife they were separating. He was ready to go to Atlanta, whatever, blah. And I'm like, let me help you, because I had been through a rocky situation. And I said, let me help you. And my wife was like, go help him, do this, do that. And I said,
okay. And you know what, Dave, I hate to interrupt, but that is a question from the chat. They wanted to know, Celeste Hart wanted to know, are they still married?
Not anymore. Now, they got back together after they separated, what I'm about to tell you now. And then they got back, and I think they just got divorced a couple years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you want him, he's wide open for you.
All right, well, we go get with Jason. All right, now, like you said, you finding money under rocks. So you doing plays. You start hitting that play circuit heavy, man.
Man, I've done like about 40 something plays. So man, I've done. Oh, let me go back. So then Teddy. Then we go to the plays.
Teddy.
We go to 2004. Then we got to go back to 96, 97 for the plays. Last Dance, Dave Tolliver. So he says, okay. I said, all right, well, let me call my man and see what's good. So my wife like mend fences, get him over here, do this. Like, you know, the wife is always your the thinking side, you know, the logical thinking side of whatever. Right. So I said, all right, because I didn't want to do it. I'm like, damn. And so I called him up and we da-da-da-da. Then we started recording the records. We take him to G's house before he died. Say, yo, man, y'all niggas ain't lost a beat, man. You know, me and Mike City about to do this. We gonna do da-da-da-da. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be big, man. So he said, I called him, and after we went there, then they called me. I get the call from Teddy. I call him. I said, so, yo, Teddy called me and said, blah, blah, blah. He was like, well, I have this project that I'm doing from September to May. I have to call them and see if they agree to it. I'm thinking like, what? So, and also at the time in the process, I had started moving my family down there. So we were getting ready to get back and do this new record. So I get, so then he calls, so I get a call from one of my producers, James Megan. He says, he talked like this. Have you talked to Jason? I'm like, nah, man, why? He said, well, I talked to him and he said, he's not really feeling the project. He doesn't want to do a record anymore. So then I call him and he says, I said, you wasn't gonna even call me and tell me. He said, there you go, make a shit up. I said, all right. He said, there you go, make a shit about you. I said, all right, cool. So then after that, I said, so what you gonna do about the project? He says, well, my people said I can't do the project. I'm like, what? What you mean? You can't do the tour? What? Next thing I know, I see him on TV with Kirk Franklin.
I was gonna bring that up. Okay, so that's what that was.
Yeah, man, and he, you know, I'm sure, you know, and now everybody listen. I'm not dogging my man. I'm just giving y'all stories,
right?
And he'll have some stuff that he'll say that that I'm not, and I'm blaming, or I'm just telling you factual stories. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always, like, for me, I'm not a guy that waits for a man to tell me when I can eat. I'm going to get it. I have no choice. You know what I'm saying? I have a family, kids, and I don't like being uncomfortable, period. I don't. So, like I said, when I was finding money, I was finding somebody that was investing thousands of dollars. Gemini was finding people that was investing thousands of dollars. One thing I can say about him, he ain't sitting there, he's going to get it. So we even though we wasn't moving a lot of units, we still was touring. We was moving some pieces here and there, and we was gigging, but we was making them pay. I made some money. So let's go back to the plays. Last Dance. So things started to kind of teeter a little bit after we left Gerald and them. And I get a call from a guy named Dwight Baxter, because at the time, Gemini and I were working with Courtney Carter. And they called him, I guess, because, you know, a lot of times we let our role managers pose as managers too. So, like, we wanted Men at Large to be in the play. And there was a play called Stop Cheating on God's Time. And I played Sean Levert's brother. This was like 97, I believe, when it started. Sean Levert was in it, Monifa. It doesn't have so many people to interchange. Erica Campbell from Mary Mary. Who else was in this play? Johnny Gill. Christopher Williams. And then as we went on, Nikki Gilbert from Brownstone was in it. Clifton Powell had been in it.
Y'all had the crew. Y'all had a nice crew.
Yeah, it was in and out. Dave Hollister. Chris. Yeah, man, it was dope.
Was it 100 people in the play, Dave?
But I'm saying it was interchangeable. Like,
okay, all right.
Like if Johnny was on the road, Chris would take his part.
Okay.
If Dave Hollister was gone, they brought in Clifton Powell, but, you know, Cliff didn't sing. You know, he would do a deep prayer instead of a song. That was right there was one of my favorite plays, because I got a chance to sing with Johnny Gill. Like, Johnny was like, I'm just not feeling it out there. Dave, can you behind the curtain, can you just do some stuff? And every night I just be like, yeah, man, I can do, because it was like, yo, I mean, for R&B cats, the plays were, when your career was kind of like, you know, a little shaky, the plays, and it would be good money. It was more work, but it was good money, and it was fun. And I went on to do about 40 plays, man. I worked with, man, Thelma from Good Times, Big Red from the Five
Hot Dog,
Ralph Tresvant, like I said, Clifton Powell, Gerald, and Sean. And it seemed like me and Sean were always working together, and he was my brother in those plays. And after Gerald passed away, me and him got we were getting super close. And then he passes away, man. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Man.
Okay, now this is what I want to ask you. I mean, we all remember, most of us can remember where we were at when we first heard that Gerald passed. It's like, you know, we can all kind of mark time. I don't know how that is for everybody else in the country, but certainly everybody from Cleveland could kind of mark time.
Let me tell you something. It ain't just Cleveland.
Okay, well, I'm saying I know in Cleveland, because I swear to God, I think in Cleveland it shut down the phone lines, because I was trying to call more people to get information, and I think it was just like a big rush of people making phone calls. But where were you at? What do you remember? What did you do? How did you feel when you first heard that Gerald had passed?
Man, it was a crazy day. I had came to Cleveland the night before, but let's go back. Now we up to 2006 again. So let's go 2 weeks before that. 2 weeks before that, Gerald and I had a couple of issues before, but but we had patched them up, and we were in a good place, man. It was always somebody trying, for what reason, I don't know, it was always somebody trying to pit me and him against each other. Like, I'm flattered that you thought I was on that level, but it usually was a female trying to pit me and him against each other. Like, where are you gonna gain from that? Like, and the only thing, and I told him, I had talked to him on the phone, and I was like, man, listen, man, I don't know what this girl was talking about, but the only thing I said to her was, because she told me that she always talked to him, and I said, listen, when you talk to him again, tell him I love him and I miss him and I want us to start working together again. Because every time I would see G after we left, he'd be like, yeah, man, I'm trying to put some shit together. And I'd be like, man, I don't really care about that. I just want to kick it with. I want to see you perform and stuff. So we had a show with him in Birmingham right when Dwight Howard had come out of college. And they had it was at the Hawks in Orlando at Birmingham Junior College. But it was in Birmingham. I just said that. And everybody was walking around, and Big Joe had cleared the whole room out.
Joe Bailey.
Joe Bailey, man. And he cleared the room out. Me and him were sitting back there talking. And I was like, man, I don't know what's going on, brother, but I love you, man. And I miss you. And I just want us to get back together and start working again. I miss that. I love you, man. He was like, he said, man, I'm tired. I'm tired of all this shit. And then we sat down, we had drinks, and then he went out and he watched us perform. And then the money wasn't right. Something happened before he went on. And he was like, man, why y'all ain't do this? That was the last meaningful thing he said to me was, I'm tired of all this shit. And then, you know, after he saw us perform, he said, yeah, man, y'all was killing it, man. But the ladies were screaming for this and screaming for that. Why y'all ain't do it? I was like, well, they ain't really had the money right. You know, at the time, we ain't had it right. It was another road manager, man. I'm bad at picking leaders. That's why I just do it all myself now. If I can travel alone, I know it's safe. I ain't taking nobody with me, dog. 2 weeks later, I go to Cleveland the night before, and I stay at my homeboy Damon's crib, and I wake up, and just something just don't feel right. And so I'm getting up. He was like, man, just take the car and go to the airport. So he went to work, and his girlfriend is drive. She said, well, you're going to have to drive to the airport because I don't really want to. I'm like, all right. So I'm driving to the airport to get a rental car because my god sis is working there. She wanted some donuts. I said, all right, I'm about to come out there and get the car and go get them. I'm driving to the airport, and the car just keeps going to the left. And I was like, is something wrong with your car? She said, no, it's you. I just got my car straightened out. Man, the car just keep doing like this the whole time. So I get my car, I leave, I go get the donuts, go back to the airport. I leave, I'm on my way home. Ronnie Knight calls me. He says, hey, man, I just heard, did Gerald die? I was like, man, what the F you talking about? Make it
just for clarification, Ronnie Knight, your DJ Ronnie Knight or Ronnie Knight, Freebie Smalls Ronnie Knight?
DJ Ronnie Knight. They used to hang out with y'all.
Oh, that's my brother. That's right. Okay, go ahead.
My brother too. And I was like, man, get off my phone. I was like, man, don't call me with that, man. Let me. I said, man, I'm driving, man. I'll call you back. Joe Little calls me immediately as he hung up, screaming, man, we lost G. I was like, what? Man, we lost G. I was like, what in the name? I was like, what the fiddlesticks? And I was just numb, B. I was like, damn. I just talked to him a couple weeks ago. Everything was gravy. I'm assuming that we were going to start working again. So my wife, of course, starts calling all my dudes. Find him. Make sure he's okay. I'm not answering my phone. I'm not talking to nobody because sometimes for me, I have to just do me and go process me and let it just run on its own. And my one homeboy, Damon Wright, man, my guy, he like a mom lightweight. You know what I'm saying? He followed me around and tracked me down somewhere, cut me off, left his car and got in the car with me. I'm like, dog, I'm good. So we ended up going out to the house. And when I pulled in, I saw Sean and them, and they had just got back from the hospital. He was like, man, no, the only thing you think about was, man, don't worry about it. We're going to make something happen. It's going to happen, you know? So they always in that mode of, you know, making stuff, of taking on the whole, you know, gamut of taking responsibility of taking care of everybody. And that was always Gerald's thing of making sure everybody was okay. And I'm sure that he was tired of that. And you know, I'm gonna tell you a few things Jason and I used to think of, joke about, that came to the light all the time. And we, you know, and I don't want to offend anybody, but we used to make jokes about EQ. God rest EQ. And then, you know, the things we joked about were true. I love EQ. That's my man. And we, you know, you just have to be careful about the jokes you make, because one of my friends told me sometimes there's truth in every joke. You know what I'm saying? If you think about it. And then we joked about, I wonder what would happen. What would everybody do if Gerald died? And you know, then you look and now you stand on the barrel of a gun. Nobody thought about that. You know, he was young, virile, and going, and you know, you have a bunch of, you know, if I offend anybody, I'm sorry. You know, from my vantage point, you have a bunch of people that just jump when you say jump is not really healthy. It's not healthy for you. It's not healthy for you mentally, spiritually, physically, financially. It's not. And I'm thankful that I have, you know, people around me that you know, that'll tell me when I'm shit, when I think I'm sugar. I'm sugar when I think I'm shit. You dig what I'm saying? So, like you, the other day.
You know, you brought that up. You said like the best thing. Nobody knows what you were talking about besides me and you. But okay, go ahead.
But yeah, man, that rocked my world for a minute. You know, I've seen so many. That's what I say about this damn record, man. This guy wrote this song for me to sing to my mother, and then I have to sing it for him at his memorial.
Wow.
Then for his brother at his memorial. And then I can tell you that song is so impactful. I had to stop singing it one time at a funeral. One of my very best friends in the world is from Des Moines, Iowa. And, you know, when you cool with somebody somewhere else and they take you in like family, when you go up there and perform, and then they keep bringing you back and paying you and loving on you, feeding you, and you become part of the community. A friend of my guy, his son that got murdered, he was in the wrong place, and the bullets weren't for him. And he was a street dude, but they weren't for him. And they had me come up there to sing So Alone at the funeral. So I get up there and I start singing So Alone. Man, these people start going crazy like I was in a concert. They wasn't screaming grief. They were screaming fan. That's how powerful that record is. And I was like, I said, turn it off, turn it off, turn it off, turn it off. Because I don't believe in, I just don't do that. I don't desecrate things that are meaningful to have. I just won't do that. And I started singing. That's when I fell in love with I Need You Now by Smokey Norfolk. And I sing that all the time, a lot of times. And, you know, when he passed away, man, I just was numb. Because I knew that we were getting ready to start working again. If it wasn't me and Jason, I would have had the opportunity to show him my writing skills and that far I come vocally, and us, you know, being really grown men now in our 30s. And I was 04, 06. Yeah. And he was 40. I was in my late mid 30s. And just to compare life stories and get back, because when I was seeing him in the plays and seeing plays, it was like nothing had ever happened. Everything was just fantastic, and I just couldn't wait for that, man. And just, man, I had to go to the doctor and get some stuff because I couldn't sleep, and that stuff I'll never touch it again because it stayed in my system for like 30 days.
Well, you know, bro, that's a powerful testimony. I mean, and it's interesting to hear, you know, from your vantage point, you know, what you thought, because you had been with Gerald through ups and downs and had gotten back together. You know, kind of the same thing with Mark Gordon. And, you know, Mark and I had talked about that, you know, they had been childhood friends up and down and was apart and was on the way getting back together. And that shocked all of us. I want to say what's up. Kim Johnson said that she was on the air when Gerald passed, and she had to announce it on the air. Also want to say what's up to Dawn Ross. Now, what I do want to do, I want to ask you about, you know, I mean, I want to keep this real, and while we have you talking about this, because I don't want to come back to it, because we got to address, you know, what was going on in your mind when we lost Sean. And then after that, Crazy Dee, I want you to be able, because I know you may have some questions about Dave's career that you may want to ask from your vantage point, and I'm gonna come to you after that. But you know, we get over this thing, you know, we don't get over it, but you know, it sinks in our mind that it's real, that you know that we lost G, and then turn around and then we lose Sean Levert. You know,
man,
talk to me about that.
I was outdone with the world, brother. Like I said, Sean and I had started getting really close. Sean, let's go back to Last Dance, 92. When we first went out, they sent Sean out on the road with us to teach us how to be stars and how to handle the road. He was on our first single, Use Me, and he went out with us to show us how it was done. And he did. He was a consummate professional about what anybody said, and he taught us and he showed us. And that was Big Bro. Back up to here after the, like 2006 on, we still kept getting booked in these plays together as brothers all the time. Or on that very first play, that Stop Cheating on God's Time play, it kept running. It would run for 6 months, go away for a few years, come back, run for 6 months, come back, and it, you know, it kept doing that. And I'm at home, I don't know what I was doing, but my guy Andrew Prince called me, said, "Hey Dave, man, what's going on with Sean, man?" I said, "Man, I don't know, man. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what time it was." I said, "Oh, man, let me make a call and see," because I knew at the time that garbage was going on with the courts or whatever, man. And I called Angie. It's crazy. Angie just texted me because I was asking her about her cigar brand. And I said, "Hey, what's going on, Angie?" She said, "Hey, Dave." I said, "Is everything all right?" She was like, "No." I dropped the phone and fell to my knees because I knew what she was getting ready to say. My wife took the phone, and I was no more good. I was just on the floor on my face, just bawling. I was gone. I was just like, Jesus, man. And I was, you know, my thing, it wasn't really thinking about, you know, my hurt with God, man. What do you tell parents that have lost 2 children 18 months apart? How do you justify that under any doctrine of any type of religion or any kind of common sense or any type? You get me choked up now thinking about it. I mean, how do you justify, how do you tell 2 parents that? How could you make them understand that? And I was like, Jesus Christ, man. I'm like, my God. And man, Miss Levert was such a strong lady. I really didn't get a chance to see Pops till some years afterwards, man. We did a play because he was like, he couldn't talk because he said every time he talked to us, it felt like he was talking to the guy, to Sean and Gerald. And for the life of me, I couldn't understand that until I just lost my sister. Like my boy would call, and I just couldn't talk to him because every time we talked, it would revert back to her, and it would just kind of knock me out the box for a minute. But yeah, man, that was really, really traumatic for me. It still kind of balls me up because, like I said, I think when God commissioned Gerald to write that record for me, it put me in a position to stand in the gap for a lot of people. And, you know, I've been through a lot of things, man, hurt-wise. I'm hurting now, just being honest. I'm hurting now to the point where, you know, I'm about to get back in therapy again. I was in therapy for a while, and I got out, and I'm going back because I'm hurting. And if I'm going to be this superhero for everybody that they expect me to be, I need to have myself together. So, you know, I'm definitely doing that. You know, I suggest to everybody out there, if you have some problems, man, don't be just because you go to therapy don't mean that you're crazy. Right. It means that you need some peace. You need to be freed. You need to be healed. And it starts from the inside out, man. I tell you, honestly, I get up every day and I'm crying after all the losses that I've had in my life. and not even just from the people, but from like the ups and downs with my career, the injury I've had that could possibly be permanent with me from the surgery I had 4 years ago. It's traumatizing. And then, it's, when you have to be that strong person for everybody and you're not as strong as you used to be physically, it starts to mess with this too. You dig? So, yeah, man.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you said that, because as black men,
yeah,
that's something we all need to understand, because that's something that we don't do. Well, we don't even go to the regular doctor when we need to. So, but to go and be able to talk to, a therapist, a mentor, just to kind of talk it out and answer some questions and understand. I'm glad that you have come forth and be a testimony to a lot of brothers who you write. It's a schism about that. I ain't going to talk to nobody. I'm not crazy. Nah, right. Bro. We all need to process a lot of stuff as black men, as brothers, as fathers, as children. We got to process stuff for sure.
There are a lot of things that we all, and everybody has a story, and there are a lot of things that we go through, a lot of things that we see. We even are affected by the things that we see other people go through that could traumatize you. And it's not soft, it's not weak, it's not, we come from an era where they say you a punk if you cry. You better not cry. If you cry again, I'll hit you again. You keep crying. That's the type of era, the era right. We come from. And I'm like, that's wrong, man. That's back. It a kid. That's why I think that's why a lot of these cats die young, because they bottle everything up. You know what I mean? I get criticized for being so free to speak my mind all the time. Yeah, I'll admit, man, my approach is abrasive sometimes, but I'm not gonna hold that in. I'm not gonna kill myself for nobody else. I have to speak my mind. If I'm wrong in what I'm saying, sometimes I'll go back and I apologize, man. But I have to speak. I'm not gonna hold it in. Talk to me, don't hold back. Holding it in give you a heart attack. I ain't doing that.
There you go. That's healthy. What's going on? Ali McGill joining us. Kim Johnson says she's proud of you, Dave, for knowing what you need to do to maintain your mentals, and that's coming from a sister who cares. And before I go to Crazy Dee, I do want to bring up one interesting moment that I don't know if you remember this. I was in for the people who know me, I call my second home is Chattanooga, Tennessee. I have the largest amount of relatives. Man, we like the Crips and the Bloods up in Chattanooga. Man. But you called my cousin's house one day. You called my cousin Magic. She's one of the top radio personalities, music radio programmers in the South. And one of my most dearest favorite cousins. I got a whole lot, but she's up there tip top, in there with all of my most favorite cousins. Actually, her and my mother, they're named after each other. They have my mother's Margaret. She's little Margaret. And I was at her crib in Chattanooga, and you called her, and I answered the phone. And you was like, yeah, I'm trying to talk to Magic, and they probably threw you because a dude answered the phone, and and I was like, yeah, who is this? And you kind of G'd up a little bit, Dave. You wasn't like, oh, I'm so no. You was like, this Dave Tolliver, like, what's up? I was like, man, this chill. You was like, you had to process this for a second, like, what you doing answering Magic's phone? I like, that's my cousin, man. But yeah, so I know that she did a lot of work with you guys, and it took care of you down south. Yeah, so shout out to my cousin Magic.
That's WJTT, I think, in
yep. Right? Yeah. WJTT, I think it's Power 94 in Chattanooga, Tennessee. All right, Crazy Dee. I know I'm sorry I kept you on hold, bro. Go ahead and get it in with a few questions you got for Dave.
I was loving the stories, you know what I'm saying, and everything. But here we are. First of all, a couple of years ago during the Stellar Awards, we got footage on Jason Champion, and he kind of talked about the situation with you guys, but it was all positive, so I'm going to say that. But we had that footage. It's up, by the way.
Really?
Yes, we have footage on that, and he talked about it. I was doing the camera work for Interviewer at the Stellar Awards.
Got to check that out.
And it's up, and he was positive. My question, about 10 years ago, we sat on the Nerve DJ panel, and you were talking about music, and besides the production, you were talking about how to get the CDs and all that, all the stuff, the business, the other side, and you said everything was done for you during that time. How long did it, during the time when you were with Treble, how long did it take you to get up to speed to know how to do it yourself? For the people who don't know, and how do you go about doing it for yourself for the people who don't know?
Well, the crazy thing was, as soon as we left Treble, we hooked up. We were kind of like bouncing around. We went to Atlanta for a couple months, and we should have stayed in Atlanta. We really should have, because that was right at the beginning of that whole, when Atlanta was taking over, like 94, like when it was derailing. Eventually, somebody would have put us in, because we was going everywhere, and everybody, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up. And then we were like, somebody put us a contract. We was down there for 2 months, staying at Breed's house with his manager, and she was trying to manage us, and God rest her soul, she just passed last year, Carolyn, and the manager, and you know, we had just signed a bad contract to get out of what we was doing. And we was like, nah, Thani, we went back home. And maybe we should have stayed. We jumped right into, when I left there, we found somebody to invest. Another $1 million investor out of Detroit started running us. So I didn't have to do anything until, man, like about 2004, because we went from $1 million investor to another $1 million investor, which was the Detroit guy, to Jim Buchanan, to Scotty Campana. And then after that, I was like, dog, I've wasted enough time doing this. Oh, then after that, I started doing everything on my own. And that's when I started really learning how to do, like, about it, because everybody was still doing everything. And honestly, that was a mistake of letting everybody do everything. I saw that the first time, see how it turned out when you look at your credits. Always watch. I don't care how much you trust somebody, always watch. Keep your eyes on the prize, because that right there is the prize. And I definitely have gotten, I don't have everything that I should have, put it that way, as far as publishing and stuff like that.
What was the first step that you did to take an ownership of doing it yourself? What was the first steps?
I just said, I'm going to watch everything myself. I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to book my own shows. I'm going to book my own travel. I'm going to press my own product. I'm going to do my own books. I'm going to do everything. And honestly, sometimes it's the gift and the curse, because a lot of times people, they're looking at the perspective instead of the reality of what it is. They'll say, oh, you're doing everything yourself. So I'm not Snoop Dogg or T.I. or Joe. I'm not on that level. So people don't want to work with me because I'm doing everything on my own. No, it's just I don't trust nobody but me. Like, for years, I pointed fingers at everybody else. But had I been up on my business, I wouldn't be in this situation in the first place. You dig what I'm saying? We should have been up on it. Even though we had lawyers, we never, ever, ever have ever had proper management. We never had proper management. You dig what I'm saying? We had my uncle, what he did was get in the middle of the mix to make sure that management cut was coming back so we could reinvest it in ourselves. He wasn't a manager. He did that to protect us financially. But then the other part went to travel. That wasn't supposed to happen. We wasn't supposed to do that. The same thing with like all the death row artists. Is with under the Death Row, and then it was, what was it, Nighttime Management or whatever it is. It's the same company, but it's just a different name. So, you know, you have, to these new artists, man, you have to be aware of what's going on, everything, and they make everything so much easier for you guys now. It's like you can just sit at home and make $1 million if you catch a wave. You don't even got to do nothing. And I try to drill this into my kids' heads every day. My daughter is, my God, she'll sing me under the table and she only 14. I'm like, get on your live and just play your piano. Or you watching all these YouTubers and stuff. You're different than most of it. Sit on your piano and do this and put it up. My son is, you know, he designs jeans. He takes jeans and cuts pieces of them, and he's turning skinny jeans into bell bottoms and putting pockets on them and all kinds of different stuff. Go on your social media and show these people what you're doing. Like, they don't want to see me no more. They want to see y'all. You know, you have to pay attention to everything and take control. And even if you do have a company that's helping you to run the stuff, you still gotta be in control. You still, if they leading the way, you still gotta navigate the ship. Put it that way. Without all that long talk. I'm sorry.
No. That's what people need to hear.
You still need to be navigating the ship. Bottom line. I don't care who you working with. If you're working with Interscope or you working with Distro Kids, you still need to be navigating the ship.
Here's a question from during the time when you got signed to Treble and hip hop was coming into its own at that time. From a person who was doing hip hop in Cleveland at the time, it seemed like there was a segregation between R&B acts and hip hop acts in Cleveland. Was that so, or was that a misconception on the part of people who were producing hip hop at the time?
I don't know if there was a segregation. You talking about as far as the artists that made it?
Yeah, as far as collaboration and cooperation between R&B and hip hop acts.
I can tell you this: I reached out to everybody. That's all I can tell you is I reached out to everybody. I can't, like, we used to do shows with Brains a lot, but I don't know. Brains and I have records together that probably won't ever get released because the producer's a dick. And I like, if I could go back and take my voice off everything that I've ever done with this producer, because at one time he was my favorite producer. But like I said, even when you trust cats, you find out that they crooked. And if I was a violent dude, I'd run up in his house right now. Real talk.
Don't want to do that, Dave.
No, I said if I was a violent dude,
right,
I would run up in his house. I mean, Brains is my bro, and but the producer that did those tracks and about a bunch of records that I have that we possibly could license and sell to some other artists and some different stuff like that, he did the paperwork crooked, and all because I trusted him and didn't watch. I missed out on some of the credits. I know better than that. See what I'm saying?
All right. As we breaking it down, I do want people to know this is your last chance. I put the URL link directly into the chat. If somebody wants to jump in, this your chance. I'm just telling you now, when you get on, don't come on here acting crazy. I'm just letting you know now. Don't
unless you work at Magic City.
You know what? When I was talking to some people in the A and they were talking about they were closing stuff down, I was asking, did they shut down Magic City? And then once they start reopening, is Magic City back open?
You know what I found? I think that these girls, they think that fat dudes and handicapped people are just suckers, because I can't tell you how many inboxes I've gotten from these girls asking me to join their what is that, US whatever it's called, US something.
I don't know.
Yeah, you do. Y'all just trying to front because y'all girls.
I don't know what you're talking about, Dave.
It's some site that you got to pay to go watch them do nasty stuff on.
Oh, no, I don't know nothing about that.
The girl Johnny Blaze made $500,000 since we've been in quarantine. It's US fans or us fans or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I said, sweetie, what's this? She said, just click on it. So I went to her page first, her Instagram page, and it looked like she does music. I said, well, sweetheart, is this something about music? She said no, and then I clicked on the little preview thing. I said, shorty, I said, did you look who you were Instagramming before you did that? I said, I don't pay for stuff like this. I said, girls send me this stuff for free, so you got the wrong one.
Yeah.
So I don't do that. I don't do that. I don't even go to strip clubs and none of that. I don't even watch porn, dude. I don't do that. I don't do that.
My man Golden Ray is watching. He says, what's up? Golden Ray, I don't know if you guys know Golden Ray. Golden Ray, and he actually was on with me earlier today with Kim as I was testing to make sure that we were going to be up and running. Golden Ray is Clevelander, and he's here in Cleveland now, is the son of the iconic, legendary actor, comedian Ronaldo Ray. We all know from the movie Friday.
Yeah.
Golden Ray is his son, so he's on there. And
Ronaldo,
so big ups to Golden Ray. Big ups to my man Daryl Shake and Bake Sullins. You know, Dave, I got my karate crew in the house. And Daryl Sullins has his. He's saying a lot of what you're saying was some of the stuff that the information you just gave to what he's doing with him and his son. They have a new brand out called No Negations. And so they have some I call it like thinkware. I think I got that from my man Wujao. But you know, and we'll talk some more about No Negations as we're going to be collabing with them. But this your guys' last chance. I have the URL link in the chat. I see a lot of people in the chat. But if anybody wants to come on, this is your last chance. And also, don't act like you all. Celeste Hart said that she had. Golden Ray has his own thing going on. Celeste, but I wrote a story about your dad. Girl, you better wait for the Golden Ray story. We talking about Dave right now. But
hey, baby, yeah, man.
They got their own thing going on. But also, if you see the Cash App, go ahead and we'll take any donation to keep everything moving.
You know what the problem is, Chill, is that when they see cats like you and cats like me, and they see you've been all over the world and you've become this journalist, well-respected journalist, they don't think about putting money in your Cash App. They always want you to put money in their Cash App. And like I've done like a couple free concerts, and I've probably gotten $50 in my Cash App. But what people don't know is that I had about 12 to 14 events for the rest of the year that were canceled.
Right.
That I could have sat on that money all the next year. All them joints got canceled. So I'm saying it's indefinitely. So but they're getting ready to start doing events in venues where there'll be no people, but they'll put up the links and offer it at, like they have like I'm great to do Southern soul music, and inspirational, and then the Jason and myself the record. But I like Southern soul. It's I got a couple records great come out, and they're gonna do something with Sir Charles, Calvin Richardson, and another guy. It's some Triple C something. It's gonna be in Jackson, Mississippi, and they're gonna do it in a venue with no people, a band, and charge $9.99 for the link. So I've done 2 free concerts on my thing, and I put the little Cash App up. For the 2 things I did, I got $50. So,
well, Dave, I tell people, that, we're not at the radio station, and we're going to be joined by Golden Ray in a second. He's coming in.
There you go.
Because I'm not at the radio station because of the quarantine. Right. We're unable to run commercials. But, we still have things. We still got super producer Felicia Haney. We still have Rhonda Crowder. We're investing in stuff that we can, make sure, like Zoom. And I want to get super tech like my man Crazy Dee. But that, that stuff, Crazy Dee got the green screen cracking. He got the fly lights and all of that. And he probably got a boom mic hanging down over his head that we don't see. So, put some money into the tip jar. But right now we're joined by my man. This is my brother right here, Golden Ray, looking like his daddy. That boy look like his daddy.
Like his daddy.
What's up? What's up, Golden? Talk to me, man. We here with, as you see, we've been putting it in with Dave Tolliver. Hold on, let me get the mute off of you, bruh. Hold on.
Hey, tell you this
okay, there you go. You unmuted.
This is some great conversation. This is some great conversation. Dave, man, you got it together, brother. You got it together.
Appreciate you, brother.
I'm glad Kevin hit me up and let me know about this. This was great.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Pleasure. So, go ahead, Dave.
I said, pleasure to meet you. And I was going to tell you about that Cash App. So how I tell my kids to get on my own live. My daughter has gotten on my live 3 times and sang one song each time and got $500.
Wow.
Wow.
I get 50. I've done 2 hours worth of concert work.
Okay, if anybody will go get your daughter and let her start singing right now. If anybody want to drop that, want to drop them 5 bands in there right now, go ahead and hit it up. But and everybody knows I support the community with my money. They see me. They somebody asked me, was I part owner in Academy Tavern, because how hard I'm bumping them. But you know, Academy Tavern is now owned by a young black brother, Christopher Butler. Academy Tavern was opened in 1939, and they've only had 3 owners, and certainly the first 2 owners were not brothers. But it's also a young brother that owns it, so I'm pushing it, and I go there. I don't get them. They don't give me free food and drinks, so so I'm supporting. I support, man, just like my man's the Zulu King, Shabazz. I roll up on him, get those slushies, and he hooks up the ices and the fruit cups, and hey, you gotta hold the community down. We gotta keep money in. That's what that cooperative economics is all about. So yeah, and I tell everybody, we got these DJs out here spinning because the club's not open, the party's not cracking, and they on here getting it in.
Hey, and it's more than jamming. Nice out there. Come on.
So if you see them DJs out there and you jamming with them and they throw up like a Cash App or something, throw something in the cup. We rocking with them. They keep my day going, man, for sure.
I don't know what Cash App is. I have PayPal, Venmo. I've got so many different ways to pay my kids and grandkids. I don't know anything about Cash App. I'm gonna have to figure that one out.
It's easy. It's easy. Really? It's easy. But Dave, bruh, I'm appreciating that you rolled up on us. We're not about to shut it down right now, but I just want you to know, man, when I called you up, I said, Dave, I want to interview you, man. Let's do the show. You was like, let's do it. It was no hesitation, no drama. You wasn't mad at me about the Biz Markie thing.
Because you was right. Because you was right.
You was like,
one thing about me is, if somebody tell me something, I might say F you, but then I might come back and be like, yeah, you was right, man. My bad, dog. I've learned that the hard way, because I just want harmony, man. I want peace, man. I just want to be, for the rest of my days, as long as I'm allowed to be here on this earth, man, I just want to be happy, man.
And Dave, you joined in on another interview that I was doing, and we were talking about Atlanta and how people support each other. But what's the difference in the support for Atlanta artists in Atlanta? What's the difference between what you see what's happening in Cleveland or what has happened in Cleveland?
You know what? I honestly have kind of gotten out of touch with what's going on at home. I see a power movement of a lot of cats moving and shaking. I see cats throwing, like my man Trap Boy Mannequin, throwing a lot of events and the clubs being packed. So I see people supporting him. Like Ray Cash got a movie on Showtime. Is it Ray Jr.? I'm sorry, Ray Jr. Got a movie on Showtime right now. No matter what you think about it or how you feel about it, it's on Showtime right now. And that's not an easy feat. You can't just be a guy from the hood and just come up and get a movie on Showtime right now unless, one, you got the money to pay for the time, or they feel like your content is what their standards are.
Your content, right.
And he did a premiere in Atlanta. I wasn't able to make it, but man.
And we had Ray Jr. on the show a couple times talking about you know, the project he was doing. And so I'm proud of that, brother. You know, I feel that if you were a rapper and you from Cleveland, I feel a kinship to him. Anybody that came after me and made enough noise where people know them citywide and even nationally and internationally, you know, I feel a kinship to all those brothers who came in the game as hip hop artists and are maintaining that and have taken it to a different level. So I appreciate that. So big ups to all my hip hop little brothers that's coming out of Cleveland. But talk to me about Atlanta, man. Is it what everybody says it is? I know you. Matter of fact, well, who are we talking to? Oh, Miss Travion, when she was saying she was working down at Tyler Perry Studios, and you were giving some commentary on that from the chat. Talk to me a little bit about the Atlanta scene and what kind of love people have for each other around there.
You know what, man? When I first came to Atlanta in 04, man, I started to. That's when I really started to push my independent thing really heavy, and I was going around. I was singing in some of the darkest places to some of the most elegant places, and what I find down here, what I see is that people just appreciate good music, no matter what they feel that to be, and they feel like it's good, they support it. I've never been in a place where I've seen an independent artist, somebody that's not known, where people have booed them or dogged them or hated in the crowd. I've just only seen people dap them or like, you know, yeah, cool, that good, or wherever they from, how they say, yeah, you know, everybody have their own, because I think everybody is kind of coming from, like, there's 10 million people down here, but I guarantee you probably only 2 or 3 million is from here, probably born and raised here. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 4. Like when I moved here in 04, there was like 167 people moving here a day. That's preposterous. That's preposterous. That's why they got to clear some of us out right now, because ain't no room for nothing. And I end that there. But y'all like that. I'd sneak that in. But
that's deep, man. I knew exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah, I've not seen any big hatred, really. I've seen artists that are signed to some of these major brands, some of the big name artists. I've seen the backlash of that, where you get tired of being signed to a brand. You don't understand that sometimes, that you're going to get caught up in, you know, all the attention, all the money, all the promo, everything is going to go towards that brand, and you're just going to get, you know, the scraps, whatever. Yeah, you'll be able to make some money, but you'll never get to be able to get to that level that you want to be at. That's the only thing that I've seen. And like, really, when I look at all these conglomerates that have come, from the Jay-Z to the Jermaine Dupri's to even the Trevos to the Bad Boys to the only people that are left are the heads. The only person that I've seen that have allowed somebody he discovered to supersede where he goes, and I don't want to say that he superseded him, but at a certain level he did, was Justin Bieber with Usher. Justin Bieber had shot past him for a minute. You dig what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But most of these guys, they don't allow that. You know, they don't do that. We're all the people from all these great conglomerates. You don't hear none of where they at. They might have some subtle success. They in and out of jail. They dead. They where are they now? They broke. They on drugs. They sick. They got 9 kids. I mean, why is that? Why are these heads of these groups and why are they afraid to share the spotlight or allow some of their artists to be as big or on the same level as them? Why?
Right. Well, we'll see how that works out. We know the stories of a whole lot of those groups and what happened. But one thing I do appreciate about Atlanta, it's an oasis for Black creativity. I mean, and not just music, but film and art. I know brothers down there that are actual visual artists who paint. And my man Damon Mescudi is down there getting it in. I mean,
he got a painter's name.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
That's that new Mescudi, Jay-Z. I just bought a Mescudi for Blue. It's yours, Blue. It's gonna be worth $4 million when your kids too.
So big ups to my man Damon Mescudi over in the A getting it in. Go check out. You can see him all over the internet His work is dope. So check him out. But bruh, Crazy Dee, anything else before we get ready to wind down? We went to 10:30. I said we were gonna do it from 8 to 10. We are half an hour over, which I knew was gonna happen, because this is good. This is good stuff, man. I think this is gonna be an interview that we will continue to share and share and share. Just a lot of the things that we went over is powerful. I know J. Cool gonna use a lot of this for the documentary as well.
Work.
But go ahead, Crazy Dee, get something else in before we shut it down.
You know, it's funny. There's a guy out here named B. Timms. He used to play for Zap, code on the keyboard and all that. He told a story about when Prince came to Atlanta. He sat with people like TLC and all the other groups, and he told them in the 90s that they needed to take their brands, because people are going to be looking for them and not the labels anymore. They're going to be looking for them. And sure enough, what he told them came to pass. How much of it is that people weren't prepared to take their brand because it was done for them and they didn't really understand how to do it themselves? How much of that is what we see today, why they're not advanced past the so-called heads of the labels?
That's good. You know, I think that's probably exactly what it is. Or the heads were the guys that had the information just didn't want to give up the information, just so guys wouldn't have knowledge of self, you know, as far as like empowering themselves. Now you see how fast these guys are, even with no talent. People that are on these love and hip hop shows, they're coming out with hairlines, makeup brands. Look at the Kardashian girl. She a billionaire from her cosmetics and all kinds of stuff like that. It's like, you know, these cats now, the information is right there. You know, bow, 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 bow. And you would never know cats like Nas are, you know, super rich from investing in people. You know, you just have to have somebody that's around you. Like, one thing I learned late was that you need to have somebody around you that's smarter than you, somebody that's, you know, that's better than you in a lot of different areas. Otherwise, you can't grow. Your brand can't grow. You can't grow. Things can't grow. You got to have somebody around you that's smarter than you. For a lot of years, man, I was always everything. And I'm like, damn, y'all hanging on to my coattail. I ain't got much of a coattail left. So now I just move on my own, man. And I try to gravitate around somebody that knows more about me with these radio plugs, the radio promo, you know, just all that stuff, you know. And I wish I would have known when I had the money to do the things, you know, back then. I wish I'd have known. I'm gonna come get some cash from you. I'm gonna send you my cash app after this, Crazy Dee. But that's it, though.
Because Crazy Dee making all the money. He on the strip too.
Oh man,
he making all that loot.
No. How much of it, Dave, is from where we come from, Lee Harvard area, where we saw Bob's Wine Barrel, we saw Ken Ferguson, Sarah House, Chic, Dave Surf and Turf, Doc's Big Fish, and Hot and Juicy. All these right around in that
black-owned businesses in Lee Harvard, yeah.
Right. How much of that is? It seemed like rugged individualism, and maybe we should have practiced communal togetherness instead of being that individual.
That right. That
we were success. We saw success though, and we said this is the way to do it.
You know, that it probably wasn't their fault. We are victims of what we have been taught, but then when we recognizing it, not correcting it, that's our problem as people. You know, we have to be careful what we're pouring into our children. And we have to recognize what have been poured into us, because if I didn't correct what was poured into me, I'd be beating the hell out of my wife, man. I'm just being honest. I would be beating the shit out of my wife on a regular basis, as mad as I get. I would. I would have to correct at a certain point. You have to, like I tell my kids, I say, I didn't always have the greatest examples of being a father. I said, I'm doing the best that I can. I said, I know I'm not the greatest, but I'm better than what you could have had. I said, I implore you to take the things that you think are correct and employ them into your lives as you go forward. The things that you think that are wrong, don't implement them. But I've never did do as I say, not what you see. I wouldn't do that. I've often apologized to them for things that I've done and said because, you know, it wasn't right. I could have did it with a different approach and different stuff like that. I think we have to, when you become an adult, you have to be responsible for who you are and correct the things that have been programmed into you, and not just. Let me give you an example, and I know I get long-winded sometimes, but I had an estranged relationship with my biological father until I was like 37 years old, man. And now I love him, and if something happened to him, I'd probably be messed up. But he was abusive to my mom, abusive to me, and the way I was able, but I found out that his dad did the same thing to him and to my grandmother and all of that, but they glorified this man. But during those times, if a man took care of the home and this, that, and the third, it was okay. He did that. That was love. That's what they thought was so. But because this man was this, that's all he knew. You dig what I'm saying? But you should have at some point knew, if you see your mom hurting, you hurt it. That don't seem wrong to you. He never realized that.
Right.
I did early.
Right.
There's no way I could beat on my kids like that. There's no way I could beat my wife like that. As mad as she'll make you sometimes. There's no way. Right. We have to correct those things. We know right from wrong. We can't keep using crutches. I didn't have a dad. My mom was this. This was that. I didn't have this in my life. We can't keep doing that.
Kim Johnson wants to know. She's still hanging out with us. She won't come on though. She wants to know what's your relationship like with your uncle right now. Are you stay in touch? Are you close to Lynn?
Hell yeah, that's my number. That's my dad. You know, Lynn, that's my dad, man. I love him so much. I wish, like, I really want to come home, man. I do, but I just don't feel like, I don't know. Like, my daughter's talking about she wants to go Ohio State. She's officially a freshman. And I told her, I'm about to mess your heads up now, right? I told her that if she does go to Ohio State, I will come back to Cleveland and I will run for office somewhere. Like, Ward 1, take Joe Jones' spot. Or maybe even run for mayor. I think I could pull the vote.
Hey, Dave. Hey, bro. We with you in Ward 1. You know, I still got my Ward 1 voting rights. I just want everybody to know that.
Word up.
I'm in Shaker, but I vote in Cleveland in Ward 1. And you to talk your man Ronnie Knight up. Ronnie Knight is in the building. Ronnie Knight, it took you long enough, bro. Show almost over with, and you just not showing up. Come on, Ronnie Knight.
That's what they do. He probably came in there with a do-rag on, karate shoes.
So Ronnie used to be your DJ. We gonna shut this down, but Ronnie was your DJ for a while.
Ronnie did a lot of stuff. Ronnie mostly just went on the road with us and got girls. Ronnie was like my security. Like, you know, Ronnie was the karate dude, and him being as little as he was made sure nobody bothered me ever. Man,
let me tell you something. Ronnie Knight is that's my little bro. Ronnie, and he was one of our martial arts proteges. We raised Ronnie and his crew after my martial arts master's crew. Because let me tell you, Ronnie Knight's a little dude, but Ronnie Knight will beat the brakes off of some cats.
Yeah, I know.
Ronnie, man, don't even get me started in Ronnie Knight stories. Ronnie Knight's a little dude, but he will get it. Ronnie Knight was known to get it popping.
That's why he always was with me, because I know he always made sure I was straight. And then when we got older and stuff started getting silly and it was cats we was around that we really didn't want to deal with, he was like, "Man, you straight? I'm going home, man." I said, "All right, man." That's when stuff would happen. Dealing with Adam, right, Ronnie?
Hey, but we go shut this down. Crazy Dee, you know, it's always a pleasure to have you jump in, man. Anytime you see me out there doing this type of thing, bro, the door is open for you to jump on in there all the time.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here. It's an honor to be here. Most definitely.
And Golden Ray, you know, I always, you know, you show up for the support, man, and me and you got a chance to talk earlier, and we're gonna sit down and we're gonna do something with you because your story is incredible about your relationship with your dad, who iconic comedian, actor, a pioneer in the game of comedy and comedic acting from the early days. So people don't know his story, your story about how you hooked up with your dad. We go get into that because you started talking about Red Fox and all them cats that was in your dad's circle. You know, we go talk, bruh. But
I can't wait for that one. I'm gonna be there for that.
Hey, and just to give you a tidbit, he brought it up earlier when I was testing to make sure everything was working right, to have you on the show. He was telling me how I was responsible for hooking him and his dad up. That he hadn't seen his dad since he was like a little dude. Wow. And didn't even know who his dad was as far as who he had become, because he had, anyway.
That's 100%. That's 100%. Going to a Kevin Hurd MC Chill party, that's how the gears got in motion where I got to meet my biological father. It's all on Kevin.
I passed that.
I wonder how many kids think that of me.
What's that?
What'd you say, Dave?
I wonder how many kids think that about me. Hey, speak now, forever hold your peace.
Yeah, but his story ended up being a good story. We reconnected, me and my mom reconnected him with his dad, who used to babysit me. I told that story earlier. His dad used to babysit me when he was working in Cleveland. And we connected him up, and he ended up moving out to LA and hanging out with his dad and meeting Red Fox and all those other people. And it, it was a good thing. So, but we go get into that story because, you got some information that nobody, it's kind of like Crazy Dee when we started building with Rudy Ray Moore, Dolomite. And, start getting a lot of that information that, if we hadn't come across it and he was hanging, I think he came over to your spot a couple times and was building with you. And, so yeah, good stuff. But Dave, my man, I appreciate you, bro. Yes. I love you.
Anytime.
And it was funny that when you were last in Cleveland, I saw you by accident. I was coming out of the building where my other office is, and I'm in the parking lot. I'm like, Dave? And you rolling past. And I'm like, let me get a quick picture. Yeah. But I cracked your head with that picture that I threw up yesterday.
Man, did you? Yeah, man, no doubt. I'm definitely coming to your. Got boxes of pictures, records, audio files. I gotta have it. I gotta hear it. I gotta just suck in that nostalgia, bro.
All right, thank you, Kim. Kim Johnson says, Dave, it was nice to see you, nice to hear from you, and he is proud of you, young. She says, I'm proud of you, young man. Golden was on here kicking it earlier today with Kim Johnson.
I wanted to see the baseball cap, her Browns cap again.
Right, she threw on her Browns cap and came on and tested it with us. But we appreciate you, Kim. Thanks. She said it was a great interview. I appreciate it. Dave, you come to Cleveland, man. We gonna have to get it in, bro, and do some work. Cause Dave, I don't know if you understand, bro. I still got bars. Dave, let's go. I'm just letting you know now.
That's my goal, is to come there and to put eyes on my nieces and nephews and to do some work while I'm there. So it's definitely going to be undercover. I ain't going to let nobody, you'll know, and the pertinent people who need to know, and then I'm in and out.
Okay. All right. I'm going to give everybody a chance to say something on the way out. We're going to start with, since you're the new kid on here, Golden Ray, and you really just was hanging out with us, anything you want to say as we shut it down?
I just really appreciate you giving me a minute. Dave, it was a pleasure, man. I feel privileged to be in your presence, sir.
Ha, I go both ways.
And to meet Kim Johnson today, finally, and actually get to say something to her, because I've actually bumped into her a couple times. That was great too. So Kevin, you made my day today. Thank you, sir.
All right, my man. Crazy Dee, what you got, King?
Oh, as usual, always a great time being with you guys. Got to meet Golden Ray. Didn't get to talk much, but good to meet you. Dave, as usual, you know, you always came through. You came through for the BlkIce Chronicles. Big Pimpin. It's up there. It's up there forever for everybody to see in person. And of course, Chill. You know, you've always been the voice that put us from New York all the way out to California and in between. So, you know, it's always an honor to be here and just do my little part with the film review Sunday.
All right. You got to get me in there, bro. Dave, I'm going to let you close it out, King.
Hey, man, this was an honor to me, man. And I thank you, man. This was therapeutic for me. You had me a little choked up a little bit for a minute, but, man, I love you, man, always and forever. If you ever need me, just call me. Crazy Golden. Much love to everybody that tuned in. I appreciate y'all. And, man, y'all be safe out there. Stay y'all asses in the house, man.
Hey, Dave, my new mantra is Mayor Keisha says no. I don't even care what it's for. I'm just rolling with, it could be something that ain't got nothing to do with anything. When she stood up, when the governor said, hey, y'all go out and start kicking and hanging out, and Mayor Keisha said no, that was my girl at that point. I'm like, she ain't even the mayor of Cleveland. I'm talking about Mayor Keisha say no. She's talking about Atlanta. I'm rolling with Mayor Keisha Bottoms.
Keisha Bottoms, yeah.
Last Bottoms. Hey, man, I love all of y'all. We up out of here. I'm in this meeting.
Peace.
Peace, guys. Good one. Now, if I can get this done.